Welcome to Brindavan, a Parthasadi family Samarpanam to our beloved parents, a space for enjoying Vaishnava Sampradaya, Slokas, songs, Divyadesa Pasarams, and much more. Namaskaram. In today's Ayiram Namangal, Ayiram Gunangal, we will see the artham of Slokam 13 of Sri Vishnu Sahasranamam. रामानुजदयापात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकं श्रीशैलेशदयापात्रं दीपत्यादिगुणात्मकं यतीन्द्रप्रवणं वन्दे रम्यजामातरं मुनिम्
रुद्रो बहुशिरापभ्रुर्विश्वयोनिः शुचिश्रवाः अमृतशाश्वतस्थाणुर्वरारोहो महातपाः.
The first nama in the Slokam 13 is Rudro, Rudraha. It says that Bhagavan makes his devotees shed tears of joy, being moved by his different acts of his game. He plays several games. This is very beautifully seen during the Krishna Avatar stories. When, as a little boy, as soon as he is born, he shows himself as Bhagavan with Changachakram to Devaki and Vasudeva. Once his mother says, I want to see a normal baby, he immediately removes his Chaturbhuja, makes it to just like a normal person having two hands. And he makes Yashoda Mata do so much for him, like tying him up when he is very naughty, and how he goes and takes the Padha, and his games with the Gopikas is a very beautiful thing to see and hear. And he's playing the flute, the divine instrument, brings really tears of joy when we do the Shravana Bhakti with Krishna Leela. The Nama is Rudraya Namaha. Next we come to Bahushira, which means he is also Adisesha or the Anantan, on which we see him lying down in the Milky Ocean. He is the multi-headed divine serpent, Adisesha or the Anantan. The Nama is Bahushirase Namaha. Shiras is head, so it's multi-headed divine serpent. Adisesha is Bhagavan. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, 16, Arjuna says, I see you in many forms with many heads, Bahu, many, and parts of the body like face, eyes, stomach, etc. But I do not see any beginning or end. So you are Anta. Anta means end. So there is no beginning or end for you. So you are Anantan. Aneka Bahudara Vaktra Netram Pashyami. I see many eyes and parts of the body. Tvam Sarvato Nantarupam. So you are the universe. Na Antam, Na Madhyam, Na Punas Tvadim Pashyami. I do not see any beginning or end. Vishveshwara Vishwarupa. O Vishveshwara, you are the Lord of the universe in your Vishwarupa. This Arjuna says after seeing the Vishwarupam of Lord Krishna. The next Nama is Babru, which means he supports the world in the form of Adisesha. It is said that Adisesha is in the Pathola Lokam, holding the earth or Bhulokam on his head. So he is Babrave Namaha. The next Nama is Vishwayonihi, Bhagavan becomes associates with those who surrender to him. So when we completely surrender to him, he becomes a part of us. And he does everything that is good for us. For example, we have seen Vibhishana when he surrendered, how Bhagavan took him in his fold despite the objection from others of his camp. And Hanuman is a great bhakta of Rama and how he surrendered to him and how they were together. Another beautiful example is Tiruppanarvar. Tiruppanarvar was from the Padha sect, and so he was praying to Sri Ranganathan. We will see what happens in his life. Tiruppanarvar is from the Pana sect, so he will not go into the temple, but he stands on the banks of Kaveri river and sings songs for Nambarmal, Srirangam, Arangan. And Perumal is very close to his heart, and he's completely surrendered himself. So Perumal is very pleased with Tiruppanarvar. One day, the Lokasaranga Muni and his associates, they mistreat Tiruppanarvar. That night, Perumal comes in the dream of Lokasaranga Muni and tells him to go and get his true bhakta next day into the temple and bring him on his shoulders. So Lokasaranga Muni goes and calls Tiruppanarvar to come to the temple, who refuses to come, saying that he is from the Pana sect and he will not come to the temple, and his feet should not come into the temple. But Lokasaranga Muni says, I will carry you on my shoulders, and carries him and says it is Arangan's Ajna that he should come. So he carries the Muni and goes into the Bhogamandapa. So once Tiruppanarvar sees Perumal, he is so happy and he sings 10 songs called Amalnadipiran, which are very beautiful. We will now see the first and the last pasuram of Amalnadipiran. அமலனாதிபிரான் அடியார்க்கென்னை ஆட்படுத்த விமலன் வெண்ணவர்கோன் விரையாழ் பொழில் வேங்கடவன் நிமலன் நின்மலன் நீதிவானவன் நீள்மதிலரங்கத் தம்மான் திருக்கமலபாதம் வந்து என் கண்ணின் உள்ளன ஒக்கின்னதே கொண்டல் வண்ணனை கோவலனாய் வெண்ணையுண்டவாயன் என் உள்ளம் கவர்ந்தானை அண்டர்கோன் அணியரங்கன் என் அமுதனைக் கண்ட கண்கள் மற்றொன்றினைக் காணாவே. This very clearly shows how Bhagavan is Vishwayoni and he associates himself with his true bhaktas. The next nama is Shuchishravaha. Shravanam is to hear. So he likes to hear his devotees call his divine names. So this tells us how Bhagavan is very pleased when we chant this Vishnu Sahasranamam, which is one of the most important things which we can do almost every day. It doesn't take much time, and so it is the best way to please God by calling him all of his divine names. He himself said in Mahabharatam, in Shanti Parva, to Arjuna that he likes to hear his name. So he Suchishravaha. Suchishravaya Namaha is the Nama. In Sri Mahabharatam, Shanti Parva 344.61, Lord Krishna says, Suchini Shravaniyani Srunomi Ya Dhananjaya Nacha Papani Grihnami Tatoham Vai Suchishravaha. Dhananjaya, I listen only to the good words told by my devotees. I do not listen to the harsh words or bad words that does not reach me. Therefore I am called Suchishravas because I like to hear only the good things that people speak. The next Nama in the 13th slokam is Amritaha. Amrit is always sweet nectar. He is sweet and he attracts his devotees. So much that we are not satiated or satisfied by seeing him and worshipping him once. So we keep repeatedly going again and again, and we keep doing constant service to him. Our prayers keep happening all the time, and the more we see Bhagavan, the more we still want to see him. So he keeps attracting us, just like he did the gopis, and they had a wonderful time with him. Even though they saw him, they just keep coming to him again and again. It is said people with Krishna Bhakti are so excited as they have consumed Amritam. The Nama is Amritaya Namaha. The next Nama is Sashvasastanu. Unlike the Amritam in the Devalokam, he is indestructible and cannot be abducted by anyone. Even though Amritam is divine nectar, it was stolen and Bhagavan had to intervene to get it. But Bhagavan, even though he is like Amrita, he is sweet, he is indestructible, and he is eternal. He was there, he is there, and he will be there always. Sashvatam means to be eternal, to be there always. The Nama is Sashvatasthanave Namaha. Nammalvar in his Thiruvaimozhi on Tirukudandai 5.8.1 sings how Perumal is sweet and we are never satiated with his Anubhavam. Arada Amudu. Arada Amudu means something which you are not satisfied. ஆரா அமுதே அடியே நுடலம் நின்பால் அன்பாயே நீராய் அலைந்து கரைய உருக்குகின்ற நெடுமாலே சீரா சென்னல் கவரி வீசும் செழுநீர் திருக்குடந்தை ஏறார் கோலம் திகழக் கிடந்தாய் கண்டேன் எம்மானே. That means you are I'm unsatiated with you. I always want to come to you again and again. Just like water dissolves many things, we dissolve in your amud or in your anubhav. Kudandai Kidandai Tirumale. Kudandai is Kumbakonam. It's a beautiful temple where Perumal is in Saina Tirkolam with Komalavali Nachiyar. The next Nama is Vararoha. This is the 122nd Nama. Vararoha means he is the supreme and is the one who everything on this earth, whether it is man or animals or every living thing, wants to attain at the end of life. He is the ultimate goal of life. Vararoha Paramapadam, or serving at the lotus feet of the Lord, is what we all want at the end of life, getting moksha. getting relief from the cycle of birth and death. Nama is Vararohaya Namaha. Parasar Bhattar interprets in his Bhagavad Gunadarpanam that the first 122 namas as describing the Mahavishnu's para form or the transcendental form that has unlimited attributes and is endowed with all the six qualities or six attributes or six gunas of jnana, wisdom, bala, strength, aishwarya, wealth, viryam, valor, shakti, power, and tejas, splendor. So he chose Bhagavan's beautiful unlimited gunams. And he also says that the first 122 namas answers Yudhishthira's first two questions, which were Kimekam Daivatam Loke, who is the supreme godhead of everything. And he also asked Kimvapi Ekam Parayanam, what is the primary goal of life? So we have seen that the supreme godhead is Sri Mahavishnu, and the ultimate goal of life is to reach him in Paramapada, attain moksha. Kulasekaralvar very beautifully brings about Bhagavan's Saulabhyam and Sausilyam. Kulasekaralvar has a very interesting story. When he comes to Kumbakonam and Perumal is trying to get up to see Alvar, he talks to Perumal and tells him, are you feeling tired? If you are feeling tired, just do not get up. Lie down and grace me. He sings, நடந்த கால்கள் நொந்தவோ நடுங்க ஞாலம் ஏனமாய் இடந்தமை குலுங்கவோ விளங்குமால் வரைச்சுரம் கடந்த கால் பரந்த காவிரி கரை குடந்தையுள் கிடந்தவாறு எழுந்து பேசுவாழி கேசனே. He says, oh Kesava, are you feeling tired because of walking during the Ramayana and during the every avataram that you take, you have done so much of work. So are you tired because of that? That's why are you lying down in the banks of river Kaveri in Kumbakonam? So you just lift your eyes a little bit and look at me. So in Kumbakonam, Perumal is in a posture that he's slightly lifting his eyes and looking at us. This pasaram shows how Perumal listens to his bhaktas, his true bhaktas, and how he graces them in all possible ways, which shows his Saulabhyam and Sausilyam, how approachable he is and how simple he is, how he likes his bhaktas, which summarizes all of his para qualities, which are being told in the last 122 namas. From here, we'll go to the Vyuha avatars. The next one in the 123rd nama. The next nama is Mahatapaha. This is the last nama in the 13th slokam. His knowledge is so great that we are unable to perceive. No one can perceive that. The six gunas, Jnanam and Balam, are attributes of the Samkarshana form, which is one of the Vyuha forms. Jnanam is the quality of giving moksha to the Jivatmas, relieving them from the cycle of birth and death, which we all look out for as humans. This has been happening eternally. So this is Sarvajnanatva. So he knows everything and he is the one who gives us moksha. So he is Mahatapaya Namaha. That is the Nama. He is very knowledgeable and is the only one who can give moksham, which is part of the Jnanam and Balam, which are the attributes of Samkarshana. To summarize, Bhagavan brings tears of joy to his devotees. He makes us so happy. He is multi-headed, armed, and he has multiple parts of his body. He supports the world as Adisesha. He is the root cause of existence of the universe. He says in Bhagavad Gita and vouches that he hears only the good words spoken by his devotees and not the harsh words. He is the divine nectar and his devotees are never satisfied with praying and worshipping him and keep coming to him for more and more. He is eternal. He is the supreme one, the goal of everyone to be attained at the end of life. He has unfathomable knowledge, Sarvajnanatva, and that is why he can grant moksham and relieve the jivatmas from the cycle of birth and death. Excepting the last nama, Mahatapaha, all the rest from Nama 1 to 122 describe his para form, and from the 123rd we'll start seeing the Vyuha forms. This brings us to the end of 13th sloka. See you all in the 14th sloka.